Hey guys, I don't really know how to do this video. There are victims involved here, so I feel like to give them the respect they deserve for what they went through, that I can only tell this story in a somber and serious tone. I've only experienced one time an unexplainable fear. I hope this video will kind of speak as a testament to trust your instincts. If that kind of thing puts you off, then you might not want to listen. But for me, the scariest stories for this kind of time of year have been things that other humans do to each other. And this is a story about that. In 2012, I met my current partner, John. We met on a dating website called Plenty of Fish, and it's like, where's the story going after such a serious build-up? But this is important to the story. So John is from this area that I now live in, Bournemouth. And Bournemouth is a lovely seaside sort of resort town. It's a very nice town, but for a very long time I lived in another town called Andover. And whilst I was living in Andover is when I met Jonathan. And Jonathan used to drive back and forth to see me. Now, the reason that this matters in the story is to put me in the location that's different from where I am. So I lived in Andover between 2000 and I think it was November 2007 until September 2013. Now, I met John in June 2012, and so we had just been together for a few months. Well, maybe this is nearing 6 months when this incident happened. So this is November of 2012. I worked in a cash office. So a cash office, if you don't know what that is a retail business that needs to have their cash counted and all of the tills put together in the morning and the new money given out. So this meant that I had to get up very, very early, sort of between 4:35, and I had to start at 6 a.m. And I did this job for 10 years, and I really did love it. It wasn't a job that I found a hassle because you could finish by like midday, and then you have your whole day. I would stay up late, get 4 or 5 hours sleep, then come home, have a nap, and then have the rest of my day. So I quite enjoyed that job. A lot of people wouldn't like that. And one of the perks of that job was I'm kind of an introvert at heart, and I would have to walk in the morning, in the dark, every morning, by myself, and I loved it because there was no one there, and I just loved that feeling. You know that feeling when you go into like a cinema and you're like the only people there, or you go into like a shop and you're the only one shopping? I loved that feeling of being out in the town and being the only human being that I saw. It was great, and I just loved that feeling. I don't know, is it just me? I'm the only one? See, I can't keep a somber attitude. This is not my personality. It will get more serious. For a lot of people that would be quite a scary thing to walk in the dark by yourself as a woman. So I don't generally feel afraid, and I just loved being by myself. One morning I was walking along, and normally I put my headphones in, have this in my pocket, and I would listen to, I would even listen to murder mystery. I love like serial killer murder mystery stuff. And like I would listen to podcasts about murders on my way to work by myself in the morning in total darkness. This is how much it didn't bother me and how much I really enjoyed this morning walk. This particular morning, I got about halfway. I remember distinctly when the feeling hit me was halfway. So there was a halfway point. And I really loved coming up to that halfway point when I would pass a train station and go over a hill. And I was coming along that halfway point, and I was like, yes, the end is in sight. I'm halfway there. Woo. And as I passed the train station and crossed the street, it hit me. You know, like a cat when they just kind of like, you know, their back arches and their, you know, and it just hit me just like that. I went from a perfectly la 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 happy listening to my stuff to instantly I am terrified. What is happening? You know, you talk yourself out of reacting that way. So I started asking myself, like, no, what are you doing? Like, there's nothing here. And so instantly, within those first few seconds, I look around. I can't see anyone, but my headphones are in. So instinctively, I take them out. My heart is going, and I don't know why. I don't know what, I'm not having a heart attack. There's no pain involved. I know I'm afraid. I know I'm palpably, physically afraid. And I haven't listened to anything scary. It's not like something just happened and something scary happened that I was listening to. And I have been having I didn't go out feeling afraid. I became afraid. And I guess the feeling would be akin to like a panic attack or something like that. You know, but it was something that was beyond me, that my senses were picking up. All of my hair was going on end and I was getting goosebumps. And I pulled my headphones out so I could hear. To hear if anything was coming behind me, and remembering it is making me unsettled. So I pulled my headphones out, and I remember looking around, and I carried on walking, but I walked. I was kind of like walking in a way, and I changed the sidewalk that I was on. So I was like on one side of the street. I walked across to the other side. Just, I don't know if I thought someone was on that side that I was on or what. And I pretended to put my headphones back in, but I didn't put them all the way, so I could still hear. I could hear like a shadow footstep. It wasn't my footstep, and it wasn't on my rhythm. And I was looking around, and I was but slyly looking around, and I couldn't see anyone. And of course this was panicking me more. So in my pocket I had just a few keys, so I put like the key, interlaced them through my hand. But all the while, there's the second part of your brain going, you're fine, you're safe, you do this every day, why are you freaking out? Don't be stupid, why are you doing this? There's no need to protect yourself because there's nobody here. You can see there's nobody here, why are you panicking? I interlaced the keys in my hand and held it, you know, terrified, like ready though. I'm like, if you come for me, I'm ready. I get to a bingo place that I passed every morning. After very, you know, anxiously, I'm ready for you, buddy. Come on, just do it. Just try it. And I get to the bingo place, and suddenly I'm not as afraid. I'm just not as afraid. And I don't know if it's my body's just calming down from the reaction or what, but I just know I feel safer. Not safe, but safer. And you know those scary movies where people like just run to the door? Like they just like run, they're like, let me in, let me in this door. And the feeling of when that door closed, knowing that nobody else that wasn't an employee could get in, it was just like the elation, just like the feeling safe. It's such something we take for granted. And I just felt safe and just like, oh, you know, and just I could breathe. And my heart was still, but I felt secure. And of course the whole morning I was like shaken up. My hands are like shaking now just talking about it. So the whole morning I was just like shaken up, I couldn't focus, but I got through the day. I got a taxi home. But whilst I was at work, there was a letter opener. Now the letter opener was like shaped like an ace of spades, like it's kind of like this at the top, and it was just a little circular thing, so you could fit it really easily in your pocket. It was very sharp. So I took that home. I borrowed it. I didn't steal it from work. I borrowed it because I was bringing it back the next day. The next one, I kept my hand on that letter opener the whole walk, but it made me feel more secure. Like, if you come for me, I'm stabbing your eye out. Like, there is no, like, you're not gonna, like, the keys were a hit and miss thing, but this is really gonna do some damage, and it made me feel comfortable. I didn't feel afraid though, and it was kind of weirding me out. I was just like, what was wrong with me? Like, I probably was nothing. I probably heard something that wasn't actually happening. It's probably like a cat jumping around somewhere in the back, and stupid Megan. And I just admonished myself, it's like, silly. Why are you so afraid? What were you afraid of? So a few weeks later, I am in the cash office talking to a colleague of mine. And he's from South Africa, and he's talking about how he grew up in a harsh area in South Africa, and like how it's really could be scary in certain neighborhoods and things like that. Parlayed into him saying he wouldn't like his wife doing a job like I was doing because it would mean like what he was like, you walk in or you drive in. And I said, oh, walk in. He's like, oh, I wouldn't like Kathy to do that because Kathy, I wouldn't want her by herself in the mornings or something like that would worry me. And I said, well, to be fair, I really love the morning walk. I was like, there was only one time I've been really afraid that now that we're talking about it. And it was a couple weeks ago. It was just a random day and I just felt really afraid and I don't know why, but I just had and then I told him I took the letter opener with me and brought it back. And he was like, he said, well, is it because of what was going on in the news? And I am not a news watcher. I try to avoid it so I don't get unnecessarily angry. Life is hard enough. And I said, well, I don't watch the news. What are you talking about? And he was like, you don't know about what happened? I was like, no. He's like, the police were out. You didn't notice. I said, no, I didn't notice. I was like, what was happening? And he said, there was a rapist and he attacked somebody. He was lying in wait in an underpass, and he did pick a victim, and he assaulted her and left her for dead and beat her in the head with a brick, and the only way she survived was by playing dead. And he had actually come from this area in Bournemouth and Poole. It's a similar area. He had escaped after raping a woman here and leaving her for dead. He ran to Andover and was apparently high and on coke and lying in wait in these underpasses in different parts of Andover waiting for someone until he found a victim. And I was just like, what? And so one of these underpasses is one of the places, the underpass is on the street that when I crossed the street is when I felt afraid. And it's not the actual underpass that he raped someone, but he was apparently lying in wait, waiting for someone in that area. It was just like where she got raped was just like 2 minutes around the corner from where I was walking to work that morning. I genuinely believe that I heard this guy. And I genuinely believe that my instincts were put on alert because he was around, because he was a dangerous person. Now, I don't know what protected me. I don't know if I didn't go close enough to the underpass. I don't know if I was too big and too tall and therefore he thought he couldn't drag me. I don't know if he was just stumbling around drunken. I don't think that's the case because I think I would have seen him. Not that he was trying to hide, which seemed like he genuinely was and making noise. I thought I would read out just a brief thing about, I'll tell you who he is so you can look it up yourself. It's on BBC. His name is Dean Goodwin, and if you read the story, he had a history of violence, and the creepy thing is that it connected the two. I mean, out of all the cities in England, it's the two cities I'm connected with, Bournemouth and Andover. And that he's from here and he did horrible things here, and then he went to Andover and did something horrible there. And it just freaks me out just thinking about it now. So let me just read to you the news article about Dean Goodwin. So this is him. So he was given 9 life sentences in 2013. This is him, Dean Goodwin. So that's him. That's that bastard. A serial sex offender who raped 2 women, leaving one for dead, while on the run from the police, was today jailed for life. He had been released early from prison for similar offences before he carried out the horrific sex attacks last November in Dorset in Hampshire. So this is from 2013, so it's 2012. In 2000, Goodwin was jailed for 12 years for 2 sexual assaults on a 13-year-old girl and a 63-year-old woman. He served 10 years of his sentence, and his name was placed on the sex offenders register. He was released from prison in 2010 and was kept under observation by the multi-agency public protection arrangements body. Shaven-headed Goodwin sparked a massive manhunt after raping a 30-year-old woman in her flat in Poole, Dorset, which is like 5 minutes around the corner here from where I live, in what was described in court as a degrading 5-hour ordeal. The 4'11" victim was attacked, forced to watch child porn, and raped 4 times by burly 18-stone Goodwin after he barged into her home pretending to be the police. During the ordeal, he said, "I'm not leaving until I get what I want." When the attack was over, he told the woman, "I'm off now. See you in court." A court heard how Goodwin had no self-control and later told police he had wanted to go out with a bang after attacking his first victim. The woman, who luckily vaguely knew him, called the police and he became a wanted man in Bournemouth. Well, anywhere but from what he'd done. A few days later, Goodwin, who was high on cocaine and steroids, lay in wait in Andover, Hampshire, and attacked a complete stranger, a 49-year-old mother of 2, on her way home to take her children swimming. She was dragged into it's like a garden underpass of a derelict house, raped, and so she went under the underpass. He grabbed her, dragged her to a garden in a derelict house, and raped her and then beat her so badly that she lost consciousness. Miss Malin told the court that Goodwin told her to "watch it or I will kill you" and "scream and I will kill you." He then hit her repeatedly with his fist and a brick and left her for dead. She thought she was going to die. She thought the only way she would survive was to play dead. The victim was not found for 5 hours until her shocked husband, out looking for her because she had not returned home, found her to be hypothermic. The court heard she suffered what is likely to be permanent facial paralysis from nerve damage resulting from the attack, and said this assault had destroyed my life and the lives of those I love. Goodwin from Poole was later arrested in Bournemouth and told police he thought he had killed the woman in Andover. He admitted attempted murder, 5 counts of rape, sexual assault, false imprisonment, 2 counts of burglary, and robbery. He committed his first sex offense against a 5-year-old boy in 1994 when he was 14, the court was told. He later physically attacked care staff and teachers and indecently assaulted 2 other women, as well as committing burglary, robbery, and car theft offenses, serving lengthy jail terms. A psychiatric report found he had a dangerous personality disorder, and he told a psychiatrist he wanted to go out with a bang after the first rape. Yeah, he's a piece of trash. He's a garbage human being, as Philip DeFranco says. And Mark couldn't believe that I hadn't heard anything about it, and because I don't follow local news, and I don't follow, this got onto the BBC. You can look up BBC articles about him. Who knows if he was really going to do something, but all I know is I have never been as afraid as I was that day, and coincidentally, there was a man that thought he murdered someone, just a random woman, walking through 2 minutes away from where I had been on the same day. And who knows if he would have ever attacked me, or if my size had anything to do with it, or if, for whatever reason, if I was ever in danger, I don't really know. But my body told me that I was. My body told me you are in danger, and I listened to it. I don't know if I'd have been able to fend him off. He was high on steroids and cocaine. Unlikely. But it made me aware. It potentially protected me, because I didn't just bob along listening to my headphones, completely unaware of any of my surroundings and unable to hear any surroundings. I took notice of my instincts. I probably just got lucky, but if you're in that situation, go with your gut, go with your instincts. Don't just try to write it off because you don't know. It may seem totally silly. Like, why are you suddenly afraid on a morning you love this walk? What is wrong with you? But you don't know who's around that corner, but sometimes your body does. And my body knew something was wrong, that I was in danger. And I believe that. I believe that he was there. I believe he was somewhere around. I don't know if he was looking for me as prey, but I believe he was there. I don't have evidence, but I believe that he was there. It's very coincidental that it was the same day that something happened to somebody else, and it just so happened to be 2 minutes around the corner. I don't have evidence, but I truly believe in my heart of hearts that he was around. And I don't know if he was gonna do anything to me. The poor victims that he has damaged their lives. I just hope and I'm not a religious person, but I hope and pray for their healing, for their happiness, that they are now in a much better place, 4 years on nearly from this horrific incident. But just listen to your instincts. If you feel that you are in danger, even if it's silly, don't ignore it. Aware of your surroundings, be careful, and if you sense something is wrong, trust it. Go with it. And it's better to think, silly me, like the next day. It's better to think that than to ignore that and to pay a price. So, yeah. He's a despicable human being, and I just want you guys to stay safe out there. And that was my most terrifying experience, knowing that I was in the same vicinity of a man. I mean, that's for sure, because where he raped her was very close to where I was when I walked to work that morning. And knowing that he was in that area on that day, it actually validated the feeling to trust my instincts. I did go with them, even though I had no reason to. Even though I had no evidence for it, I still believed in my instincts enough that I went with them, and I'm glad that I did. And I could have talked myself out of it, and I'm glad that I didn't. And it just validated that feeling that if you feel afraid, go with it. So stay safe, everybody. Safe Halloween. I was going to say happy, but it feels a little heavy to say that sort of thing. But have a wonderful Halloween. Stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.